Let me go with... Hi, and welcome to Week 8 of the I Formation. I'm Jeff Gibbons.
And I'm John Moist.
Awesome week last week. Actually, we were pretty close. You beat me out by one pick yet again this week, but times are changing, baby. Stick around. We're going to tell you our 15 games in 15 minutes.
Okay, welcome back to the I Formation, and now we're going to make our picks for week number 8 of the NFL season, starting with the battle between the San Diego Chargers and my Denver Broncos Thursday night. What do you think?
I'm thinking, call KC to beat them by a field goal last week, and we saw some weaknesses, some chinks in the armor, if you will.
Yeah.
And they're going into Denver. Don't see it any other way but Peyton Manning.
I think it's going to be a battle.
Well, they're always battles.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah, but I think, again, I'm thinking 10 points.
I'll disagree with the 10 points. I'm definitely going with my Broncos. I think that the Broncos are favored by 7 or 8 points on this one. I see the Chargers covering that spread. I like the Broncos.
Sorry, man. Next we got Detroit going into Atlanta to play the Falcons. We both agree here.
Yeah, Falcons got no defense, and the Lions have a great defense. One of the best defenses in the NFL this year, actually.
Calvin Johnson's still not back.
Yeah.
But they've found ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think you're right. I think that they'll go into Atlanta, even in the dome, and they still come out on top.
You're talking about an Atlanta defense that's one of the worst in the game right now, and their offensive line is nothing to write home about either. They're going up against Detroit, second-ranked pass rush, somewhere around there. And I just see Detroit getting to Matt Ryan and shaking things up. Ryan goes down 5 or 6 times in this game. Lions get the win.
Jenga. All right, man. Next, we've got the Battle of Florida. We got Miami going into Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. The Jaguars, who finally won a game this week.
They did.
Last week, I should say.
Yeah.
But we had Miami who went into Soldier Field and took apart the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, how many total yards did the Bears have there? It was 225, maybe 224, something like that.
I know. I've been. It was good to see that defense stand up the way they stood up.
Yeah, I was also reading today that the Dolphins are now the 4th-ranked defense in the NFL. So.
Yep. So, well, I mean, they've always been done well defensively, but they've made some tweaks. But where Miami's problems lie are on the offensive line,
Hill's coming around, though.
Yeah, it is. It's getting better. It's getting better, and it may be a little too late. It'll be interesting to see. There's still a lot of divisional matchups here that can keep them in that race in the AFC East. But I think this is going to be a blowout. I really do. I think
2 touchdowns for Miami. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, look for a big game on the ground, or not on the ground, in the air for people like Brian Hartline. I think that they're going to push this offense off in different directions against Jacksonville and really exploit that secondary. So look for a big game in the air, and Tannehill is
I agree. I think Tannehill is another big one here.
Okay. Next we got Baltimore going into Cincinnati to play the Bengals. And you know what? You were having some trouble coming up with this final pick this week. I never wavered on this pick once. I've always gone with Baltimore. And I just think that defensively, they'll play well against that Cincinnati game. And Green is still, I don't think, back at this point. I think he's so,
and Burfict is questionable. They're probably their best defensive player, and Leon Hall questionable. Bengals are beat up, and they go up against the Colts, and they put up 135 yards of total offense. What is that? Yeah, I was back and forth on this game until I actually did a little bit of research on what the Bengals did last week, and I don't know how they're going to fix that many problems this week against the Ravens defense is getting better every week.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah. Now, the Bengals haven't lost at home since December 2012.
But it's time.
It's time now.
Awesome. Next, we've got Seattle going into Carolina, and this is a time of discomfort for the Seattle Seahawks. We're not used to losing a couple of games in a row, who are not used to having adversity in the locker room and bad publicity. So there's been a lot going on with the whole Percy Harvin thing, being traded away for a bag of footballs, essentially. And, getting him out of there. And we're hearing stories, but I mean, this is about football. This is not about what goes in the locker room. We will make the statement, and you said this very well today. We were talking about, Carroll making it a point of, keeping that stuff away from the light and, dealing with things that he has to deal with as a coach and respecting that. I mean, this is not in any way, shape, or form really helping or hindering the game. I mean, apart from being a separate kind of distraction. And I think Seattle is just having an adjustment period, and I think that the team is better than they played the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But
it didn't help that Bobby Wagner and Byron Maxwell were out for that one last week, too.
No, that's right. I mean, and while I'm going to say that, and we talked about the whole San Francisco 49er thing about people missing, but still having that defense by committee. And I think that Seattle is a very, very deep defensive team, obviously, one of the best in the league. So, yeah, while it hurts to have those kind of players out, they still can get the job done. I just think that they've just gone through a couple of anemic sort of periods. I mean, they almost pulled that thing out. They were down a considerable margin. I don't want to misquote what it was, but it was a considerable margin in that last game, and nearly came back and won that game. But you know what? They faced a team with Jeff Fisher, who came up with two incredible trick plays.
Vintage Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, that just kept them off their game. So the distractions and talking about Sherman talked about getting that fumble back and
Earl Thomas.
Saying that they blew that call and blew the game. You know what? You got to remember, there's 60 minutes to this game, and you were outplayed, you were outclassed.
Yes.
Sadly. That's
I'd like to touch on that too. And what I want to say is that Earl Thomas, I think he made a statement that to keep the refs out of it and let them dominate. Well, if you were that dominant in this game, how come you were losing at that point? That's all. Stay off the refs, or you're going to find yourself getting some more bad calls in the next game.
I don't think this Seattle team is collapsing in on itself like San Francisco did earlier this year.
No.
The locker room. I think they're going to, under Carroll, I think they're going to put this together, and I think this week they're going to go back into Carolina, and I think they're going to beat the Carolina Panthers.
I've seen Marshawn Lynch having a huge game against Carolina on the ground. Carolina's run defense is awful, and I see Marshawn Lynch I wouldn't be surprised to see Marshawn Lynch go for 2 or 3 touchdowns in this game.
And run around the outside of the stadium and get a pizza.
Yeah. He'll run to Canada.
He could. Well, yes, he might very well. Yeah. But, put the exclamation mark on that game, baby. I'm calling this a blowout. And
but so much for the 15 and 15 minutes.
Yeah, but that's it.
That was 5.
It can happen. Now we got to speak fast. And we don't do that here in Newfoundland enough. Next, we got Minnesota going into Tampa Bay, and we both agree on this one.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's coming off a bye, but
just not all that in the bag of chips, as I like to say.
No, their defense is awful. Their offense is not much better.
Yeah. No. I'm just thinking maybe this is, just that Minnesota I wouldn't say dominates this team. This is probably a close game, but I think they're going to find enough. They got enough there to maybe win this.
Yeah, the Vikings should have had a better outcome last week when their defense had 6 sacks, but that's it.
It happens, and you know what it is. It's 2 letters in front.
And also forced 3 fumbles, by the way.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so we're both going with Minnie. Next, we differ on this one. Buffalo going in to play the Jets in the Meadowlands. And division rivalry. But I just think Buffalo. I just think Buffalo is going to come up with a way to win this game. I think that Kyle Orton didn't look too bad last week.
Looked okay. He came up with that winning touchdown pass in the last play of the game.
Yeah, well, it was enough to keep Geno Smith on the bench.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see more of that, more of those heroics from him. But I think, again, these games are close. Buffalo was a better team than I gave them credit for. Mm-hmm. They've really come out and played well this year. They've had a couple of big games, and they've come up with a couple of key wins. I just think that they go into New York and they hold it, or they go into the Meadowlands and they hold this close, but they win it on the road. They just play the penultimate road game and win it maybe by a field goal.
I like the Jets to win this one. Once again, this is a real close game. This is if you're picking a tie on your pro line, this is the one to go with. But the Jets didn't deserve to lose in New England last week. They put up over 200 yards on the ground. They controlled the ball for 40 minutes of the game and still lost the game. There was a blocked field goal, 58-yarder, mind you, but a blocked field goal on the last play of the game that secured the win for New England. But I think the Jets played a real good game last week, and I think that they're improving both offensively and defensively. And I look at them to beat the Bills in a close one, divisional rivalry, Jets by a field goal.
Ugly stat for you that I read today. I think it was, I'm trying to remember this. Tom Brady in the last 3 games, 9 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. Anyway, on we go. So.
What's their defense doing? Giving up 200 rushing yards, apparently.
Anyway, I'm not fighting about it. I agree with you. You're preaching the choir, man. Okay, next we got St. Louis going into Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Blowout.
See ya.
Chiefs.
14 points. Jamal Charles to run for 375 yards.
Chiefs are 3-3 right now. They're a team on the rise. And watch out for them, because within the next few weeks, they're going to be rising up the standings and pushing for a playoff spot. Chiefs got a great team this year.
It's about time.
Only 375 for Charles.
Yeah, I figure that he pulls a
Slow
hammy and
week.
take it easy on him.
Yeah.
Okay, next we got Houston going into Tennessee, and I'm scared of this one because we're both agreeing. And I've had nothing but problems with Tennessee-osis all year. Whenever I pick Tennessee, they lose. Whenever I go against Tennessee, they win. Now, albeit by a point or 2 points, you know. But this week we're both picking Houston to go into Tennessee and beat the Tennessee Titans.
Well, I just think that Tennessee... Let's just keep this one quick. Tennessee doesn't have Arian Foster. Next.
That's true. I mean, I went against you on that pick now for the Monday Nighter, and there's 3 minutes of my life I'd like to forget. When they were up 13
24 points that Pittsburgh scored.
But that's it. It was close anyway. It was a score, but that's it. It's still, I was on the wrong end of that yet again. Anyway, next we've got Chicago going into New England to play the Patriots. And Chicago just didn't put a good team on the field last week.
No.
And they're playing, like I said, Tom Brady, who's finally really put things together over the last three games. I just don't see this any other way. Plus, you got all the things that go your way in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Patriots by 14.
I'm going to disagree with the point gap. I think Chicago is going to come fighting after not playing very well the last couple of games, especially last week. Brandon Marshall is causing some locker room trouble there, but I think that the Bears are going to show up, and I think that they're going to run the ball and control the clock and keep the game close. I look for New England to win, but by 6 or 7 points.
Like the Jets did last week.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay. Next we got Philadelphia going into Arizona to play the Cardinals. And we're differing on this one. But this could go either way, I think.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah. So you're picking Philadelphia. Tell me, in 25 words or less, why you think I should agree with you.
Because Arizona, who actually has the #1 rush defense in the game right now, has the 30th ranked pass defense, and Nick Foles loves to throw the ball. I look for Philadelphia to bring the game to them in the air and win by a field goal in the dying seconds. How's that?
That was poetic, man.
Yeah.
But I agree. But you know what? I think that rush defense is going to come back and bite them in the ass. I really think that they're going to have trouble establishing the play action. I think that they hold them, and they're tough at home, and they got it working on all cylinders. They're a scary team right now.
Yeah,
And like I said, they were 10-6 last year and never made a
Battle of
playoff
5-1,
spot.
sir.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm thinking Arizona to come out on top.
Go
of
either
that
way.
one.
I'll pick the Eagles by a field goal. You're picking Cards by a field goal. Eh?
Yeah, if you say so. All right, next we got Indianapolis and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'd love to say the Steelers here, but
Yeah, but
sorry,
I don't
Granny,
think
buddy, not happening this
I
way.
don't think they're going to come up with 24 points prior to the second or to the halftime. So yeah, Indianapolis, I just think just got way too much shit going on here, man. They're just oop, did I just say that word? Okay. Yeah, they got way too many weapons on both sides of the ball going on here. I just think that they're the complete package.
Indianapolis has also showed up at both sides of the ball, like you say, because usually they're not about the big defense, but over the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've been one of the top defenses in the NFL.
Without the fair.
Yeah, shutout last week.
Was gone and Mathis is hurt.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've made some changes on that defensive line, and they've found ways to win.
Yeah.
Remember, I
It's
picked
defense
those.
by committee here too. There's
It
no,
is.
they're all.
I picked those guys to win it all this year, and actually now, and I picked them to have the best record in the NFL. Whether that happens or not now still remains to be seen. But you know what? The table, they can still run the table.
I think offensively, they're a team in the AFC that could give the Broncos a run for their money. 506 yards offense put up by Indy last week against their defense, giving up 135. Not sure if I've ever seen that before. Almost 400-yard differential.
It's pretty scary.
So yeah, this team is got a lot of weapons, and as much as I'd like to see the Steelers do something with it, I don't think they have enough in this one. I'm going to pick Indy by a score.
Okay.
You think?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we got Oakland going into Cleveland into the dog pound to play the Browns.
I think Browns win ugly. I don't think it's a blowout.
Yeah.
I think Oakland will show up, maybe keep it close by keeping the ball on the ground. Browns got the worst run defense in the NFL, 32 ranked right now.
Darren McFadden's back too, I think.
Yeah, he is.
So, yeah, this week. We'll see how that goes for him.
See if he gets through the game
Yeah, that's right.
for a change.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Cleveland at home.
Cleveland ugly?
Yeah.
Ugly, yeah.
What do you dropping words at
This is
Cleveland?
dog
Ugly.
pound, Yeah.
Next, we got the Packers going into the Big Easy to play the Saints, and we're going to disagree on this one too. But I'm picking Green Bay just because Green Bay is awesome, man. And I think 6 weeks ago, going into New Orleans, maybe I would have probably made the statement, tough team, they're at home. They've had their troubles. They've had their troubles offensively, and let me tell you, Green Bay looks like the complete package right now. It's a team that I really wasn't sure where they were going to be, and then now this Eddie Lacy thing has come alive. They're running the ball well. Rodgers is just sick throwing the ball, right? And he's going to people like Corliss. He's going to people like, he's all over the place, right? Not sure. He's got a really good set of receivers. But I just think that they're going to go in there. They're just building. And remember what Aaron Rodgers said, relax. And he has lived up to that. They haven't lost, I don't think, since he's made that statement.
No.
And they've righted the ship. And I just think they're going to go into New Orleans. New Orleans just hasn't got everything where they needed to be this year. They've lost close games. They've lost games late. And that's not Drew Brees. That's not Jimmy Graham. That's not Pierre Thomas. That's not the way these guys operate. So there's a little bit of a confidence thing, I think, in New Orleans. So I'm going to say that Green Bay takes a hold of that. They ride the wave, and they go in there and they win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that. Most people picking the Packers this week. And so far in the season, there's no doubt that the Packers have been a better team. I'm going to have to go with the Saints here because I think that Drew Brees and the Saints are in a situation where if they want to win that division and make the playoffs, this is a game that they have to win. Drew Brees at home is fantastic, always have been. And I think he gets together with Peyton and comes up with a game plan here. I don't see this as being a blowout by any means. But I think New Orleans comes out in the end and gets enough passing yardage to win the high-scoring battle.
Okay, I'm saying a touchdown here. Yeah, potato. We'll see. Left with the Monday nighter now, Washington and Dallas, which is always an entertaining game. No matter how bad one team or the other has always been,
Yeah.
this is usually an entertaining team.
One of the biggest rivalries in the NFL
It
of all
is.
time, really.
But not very often we're going to say, what is it, the 6-1 Dallas Cowboys? Is that what they are now, 6-1? And I'm thinking, when was the last time you said the 6-1 Dallas Cowboys?
I have
Right.
no idea.
So this changes this. Washington has not been good. They've had pockets of good play, but I mean they really haven't played well at all. And I picked Washington to win this division way back at the beginning. I thought that they would sneak in, but things have just been terrible.
Oh, they've lost D'Angelo Hall a couple of games ago, and now they've lost Arakpo. Gone for the season with that.
Yeah,
Torn
and
pectoral.
well, not to mention the quarterback scenario.
Yeah.
And your buddy last week, you picked to have a big week when he was benched, and that's why they did as well as they did in the
Cousins
second
is
half,
just
right?
a turnover machine.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, we're into a third string quarterback too now versus Romo and a team that has played incredibly defensively. Plus, well, I mean, offense, it doesn't look too bad with DeMarco Murray and, you know, and Des Bryant and whatnot. And I mean, Romo has really, really played well.
He has.
But again, we're still waiting for the shoe to drop. But I think that despite the fact that this is a rivalry, I'm saying 10 points at least.
I agree.
Dallas, right? So there you have it, folks. That's this week's picks. Stick around. We're going to tell you about who we think is going to play well this week as a team and as a player.
Hi, welcome back to the I-Formation. Now we're going to make our picks for Player of the Week and Team of the Week. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm actually going to go home on it this week, and I'm going to take my Miami Dolphins to play well in Jacksonville, and I'm going to pick Ryan Tannehill to have a big game against that defense. Who do you like?
I'm going to have to say Seattle Seahawks this week. I think they're going to have a big game and bounce back against Carolina, and I look for Marshawn Lynch to have a huge game on the ground.
Skittles for everybody, baby.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Just like Super Bowl Sunday. Oh, so that's our picks for the week. You know where you can find us. Check our credits for our Facebook page. Give us a like. Also, you can send us an email at Gmail. It's always fun to say, email at Gmail. And, of course, you can also follow us on Twitter. So, that's it for this week. You got anything else to add this week?
That's it.
Well, just remember, folks, if you're out watching those games, don't drink and drive and respect the game. And until next week, it's good night for me.
And it's good night from him. Have fun.
And I've had nothing but problems.